I grew up playing games all my life. In fact, my father used to teach game theory at UCLA, so he'd bring games home for us to analyze, and we'd analyze them together. So my brother's 4 years older, and he used to teach me games too. I remember growing up that I could actually beat most of my brother's friends at a lot of the games we'd play. You know, I remember my parents teaching me poker when I was very young. I can't remember a time when they taught me the game, but it seems like I've known it all my life. Let's see. I remember playing poker for money for the first time. I was 10 years old in the 4th grade. I remember losing 35 cents on this one gigantic hand. So I guess that must have had an impression on me. I decided I didn't really want to lose at this game anymore. In high school, I used to play every weekend, at least once, with a group of friends. I remember I had my code name for my parents. I told them I was going babysitting, because I made as much money in these games as my friends would make babysitting. So, also around that time when I was in high school, we used to go to Vegas every once in a while. You know, we'd all get in a car, go as cheaply as possible, split gasoline, split a room, you know, go to these cheap buffets. My reason for going to Vegas was a lot different than my friends. They were there to have fun. I was there to make money, actually. I was there, and it wasn't so much that I was going to make a lot of money. I was there to play poker and prove that I could earn a living, which is that I'd go there, I'd win enough to pay for my hotel room, pay for gas, pay for food, and come back with just at least a little bit of money. And I really thought of that as transition into manhood, because it proved that I could, you know, make my way in a really tough environment like Las Vegas. In 1994, I made a very conscious decision. I told myself, you know, I'd always loved playing poker. I'd always enjoyed poker. But I made the conscious decision, I really want to know how to play poker really well at an expert level. Because I'd mastered a lot of other games, but I'd never really mastered the game of poker. And I figured, you know, to become the best poker player, to become one of the best, you really have to play against the best. And back in those days, I couldn't afford to play against the best players, because they're playing at least 1 in 200. They're playing much higher stakes than I could ever afford to. So I was looking for a way to match wits against the best players for a lot less money. And what I found is that actually poker tournaments allowed me to do that. I could play in a poker tournament with a $200 or $300 buy-in back then and play against some really, really good poker players. And not only that, the other opponents I was playing against in these poker tournaments would take the games a lot more seriously than they would in the side action, because there really was some goal. And so the games were a lot better, and they're more conducive to learning how to play the real game of poker. Because in the side action, if you're playing against people who are just there to gamble or just there to have fun, they're not really trying that hard to beat you. So you're not going to learn that much. You might learn how to beat these guys, but you're not going to learn how to play the real game of poker. Come learn, chat, and play with the pros at fulltiltpoker.com. Now available on the Mac. Sometimes you want to advertise your bluffs. It makes your opponents second-guess themselves. It drives them crazy. But mostly, you're setting them up for later. Learn from the pros at fulltiltpoker.com.